This roster review is for Nivek Nailgun from Wampanoms. I'd like to thank Nivek for creating our guild recruitment poster. He did an awesome job. If you're ever looking for a guild and you're on Reddit and you want to check that out, find us. It's really, really cool. Nivek is at 3.2 million, and he is able to come in under 100 in squad arena, and he gets top 5 in fleet arena. So he's making about 500 crystals per day. And Nivek is mostly free to play. His main priorities are his arena team and Geonosis territory battles and modding some of his teams. Alright, Nivek, you're running the General Grievous Gear 13 team. It's a really good team. It can chew through a lot of everything. Yours is looking really good, except for Magnagard. He's going to need a little love, but overall, this is a great team. Sometimes it doesn't really hold well on defense, but offensively, it can get a lot of work done. So real quick, let's take a look at your inventory and see if there are possibly any other options. You've got a lot of good Gear 12 going on here, but one thing is your roster tends to fall off pretty quick. And some of the other big teams like Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan are missing. You've got Shakti working now. You're working on your clones. And the other cool thing is you have got Padme at 7 stars already with a Zeta. You've got that team at full 7 stars. It's just a matter of gear. That's one possible alternative. But right now it looks like you're sticking with General Grievous. So let's take a look at that team and see what we can do. Let's start with General Grievous here. And we will see that you are modding him really well. You've got all health sets. You do have the health arrow that's gold. Excellent. You have a health triangle, health cross, and health circle. So this is really good. You're going to want to go ahead and take the best health set with health primaries that you have for those 3 other mods and take them to 6 dot. That is going to boost Grievous's health a ton, and it's going to make him do more damage. As we see right now, he's still over 100,000 health, which is really pretty good. His speed, he's got plus 24 speed. He could use a little bit more speed. Now, he doesn't have to be crazy speed like a Jedi Knight Revan or Darth Revan. You don't need 150 speed on him or anything. But if you could put another, let's say, 50 speed on him, 50 to 80 speed, that would be ideal. Moving on to your B2 Super Battle Droid. He has got 2 potency sets, it looks like, and a tenacity set. Now, what he really needs is just all potency. He's going to gain some speed just based on the team and the kit composition. The potency, what you want to do is land that buff immunity and strip those buffs off of the teams you're facing. And the beauty of it is he will go really quick, so he doesn't need a whole lot of speed. He's pretty fast right now, comparatively. So don't worry about the speed. Just worry about maxing out his potency, which right now is at 118%, which is really not bad. But see if you can bump that up another 20% or so. Let's take a look at your cross. You do have a potency cross on, but I think if you can put a potency set with a potency primary here on the cross, it's going to do you a lot better for B2. And again, don't worry about speed. If you've got speed on him, great. If not, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, Newt Gunray, you've got Gear 12 in the Zeta, which is excellent. He has health and defense, so this isn't too bad. You really just want to make him fast so he can get extortion out there and do some damage to the other teams. He has a revive, so he can protect himself a little bit, but he's still overall pretty squishy. So maybe health sets, just straight out health sets, but I'm not going to knock you too much for defense. Let's take a look at the speed. 236, he's got some good speed. That plus 80 or better is where you want to be. Okay, moving on to B1. You've got the Zeta on B1, which is excellent. He's going to do a lot of damage, and yes, he needs the offense and potency sets. So your sets look really good here. Let's take a look at your stats. He is at 216 speed, which is not horrible, but you want him to go as fast as possible, especially since this is your arena team. I would like to see that bumped up at least to over 100 speed plus 100. What his main job is, not only is he good for some damage, he's really what keeps your team surviving, because when he goes, he's able to put protection and health back up on one of your teammates there, and that will keep them alive, especially since your Magna Guard's a little bit squishy right now. That's good for him. Newt's probably going to take a lot of damage, so B1 you want going constantly so he can keep their health and protection up as much as possible and keep that team alive. On to Magna Guard. Magna Guard is one you definitely want to get up to gear 12, especially since it's an arena team member. It looks like you have the health sets on him. That's really his main job. Make him tanky, make him take all the damage. He's going to start the team under stealth and absorb those initial heavy hits so the team can get rolling. And then once he dies, General Grievous is going to go nuts and let the fun begin, right? Another area of the game that you're interested in is Geonosis territory battles. You've got a really great start with that Grievous team already. And looking at your Geonosians, they've got some good work started on them. They're almost all 7 stars. It looks like Spy needs to finish his stars. That's not a big deal. Your Brood Alpha is unlocked 7 stars and already has a Zeta. It is the Leader Zeta. Unfortunately, the unique Zeta is the one you really want to make that team do well all around. The Leader Zeta is one that's not completely necessary, but in, say, the Acklay mission, it's going to come in handy there. So consider getting your next Zeta on Queen's Will. The other thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and push all these guys to gear 12, and eventually you're going to want to take Geonosian Brood Alpha and Geonosian Spy to gear 13, and that's going to allow them to survive that Acklay mission, which is pretty difficult. Looking at the rest of your separatists here, you've got Dooku gear 12 with the Zeta. Newt, Dooku, B2, B1, and Droideka are ready to go. So the Phase 1 special mission, you should be able to knock that out of the park. One thing that it is going to require you to do is do a little bit of remodding. You are going to want Newt Gunray, Count Dooku, and B1 Battle Droid going super fast. And I mean like as fast as you, whatever your fastest mod sets are, put those on them and go to town. You're going to want to try to make sure you get kills with Count Dooku and Newt Gunray, because they get the Separatist affiliation bonus in that battle, and it makes them a lot more effective. So on the regular dark side combat missions where you can use any dark side team, some effective teams are going to be Darth Revan, Traya, Night Sisters, and then maybe Bounty Hunters and Troopers if you don't have those. And looking at your whole roster here, you are kind of missing the rest of those teams except for Bounty Hunters. Your Bounty Hunters are exceptional. Let's take a look here. Yeah, you've got them gear 12 Zeta'd out, so you've got a pretty effective Bounty Hunter team. So, especially in the earlier phases, you might be able to do some real damage. But considering things like Darth Traya is going to be a really good team, you can use Traya, Nihilus, Scion with, say, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. The only problem is your Traya is 7 stars but has very little gear, and your Nihilus and Scion don't even qualify. Traya is a really good team overall. In fact, for things like Grand Arena Championships, Traya is still on my list. She is in that top tier of teams. She is not at the top of it. She's on the bottom, but she's still very effective against a lot of things. When we look at your Sith Empire, they are looking pretty miserable. Your Bastila Shan is not worked on at all. You're missing Darth Revan. That's going to hurt. And then I noticed in your Jedi that you don't have Darth Revan yet. So we look at your Old Republic, and there's been very little work on them. The Revans are incredible in this game. They're really the top 2 teams, but I think they're probably either on their way out, or at least they're getting knocked down to a competitive level with some other teams like Shakti and Clones and Padme. Speaking of Shakti and Padme, you're in pretty good shape to start light side Geonosis territory battles. We take a look and we see you do have Padme, General Kenobi, Anakin, Ahsoka, C-3PO. They've all got their stars. They just need some gear except for Kenobi. And eventually, you may have to take somebody to gear 13 or the whole team, but we'll worry about that later. For right now, this is a very solid team to gear. I like C-3PO in that team because in Grand Arena Championships, It allows you to take out a lot of Darth Revan teams, even Darth Revan Malak. Even if you don't completely clear Malak, that team will get it down to Malak, and you can go and clean it in with something, say CLS Han Thrawn, CLS Han Chewie Thrawn, just something. It makes it to where you can get through and you're not roadblocked. And we mentioned Shaak Ti and the 501st clones. We have Shaak Ti at 6 stars. I know you're pretty close to getting her to 7 stars. You've already got the 1 Zeta on her. You've got her leadership Zeta. And when we look at clones, especially the 501st here, you've got their stars. You're doing a little bit of work. I know they're high on your geared priority list, and I think that's going to be a very safe investment for the future. Other things that are going to be highly effective in light side Geonosis territory battles, at least this is speculation, but I think Jedi Knight Revan would have to be really good. Another team might be Commander Luke Skywalker. There's some options. We don't know what content we're actually getting in the game soon, but those are your big teams that exist right now. So given your game goals and looking at your entire roster, I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of things. Like Night Sisters would be really good to finish, but that's a pretty big investment for where you are. Imperial Troopers, that's another area that they still get a little bit of work done, but they're pretty behind. And if you work on the content, the newest content, that's the stuff that's hitting hard and doing better right now. So if you're not wailing out, spend your time effectively and get the newest teams that are going to hang around for 6 months to a year and be effective, rather than working on the ones that have already been out a year and they're on the decline. Okay, so your goals and priorities. The first thing that I think you should do is go ahead and finish out Magna Guard and get your arena team solid so you can continue to come in under 100. If you're having a lot of success, don't be afraid to refresh to get under 50 and even 20 if you can, and just keep fighting your way up there until they get used to you being that high. And I know it's hard to stay in the top 20 without falling a whole lot, but if you can climb there and get that under 20, you're going to see a nice crystal boost eventually, and people are going to know, you belong there, and you're not going to fall quite as hard. Your second priority is going to be your Geonosians. Spy was the only one that you had to get to 7 stars. That should come quick. Get them all to Gear 12 first. That's going to help you to succeed in the Watt mission and get your guild Watt shards. Watt's a really great character. Eventually, you're going to want to take Brood Alpha and Spy to Gear 13, and that's to get the Acklay mission done. Also, Geonosians they're a really good team for Grand Arena Championships. They're that team you can stick on defense. If somebody doesn't know how to handle them or they don't have an appropriate team, it's a game changer. On offense, they wreck so much stuff, it's not funny. Your third priority, go ahead and finish out Shaak Ti, get her in the 501st to Gear 12. Get ready for that possible meta shift. I mean, it really looks like you've got 4 in the 501st with Ahsoka. That would mean you've got Shaak Ti that could lead with Ahsoka in your 3 501st, but that seems a little bit awkward. It really feels like we're going to get a 5th to that, and I know the speculation is General Anakin. Now, whether the clones and Shaak Ti are going to be what unlocks General Anakin, I don't know yet, and to be quite honest, I doubt that that's going to be the team. Fourth, don't be afraid to go all in on Padme after you get those done. They are a little bit of a Zeta-heavy team, but trust me, the investment is worth it. They will kill Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, pretty much anything out there. They are very, very good, and you can count on Padme and clones being a big part of light-side Geonosis territory battles. Fifth, your Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, and Traya team, that's going to need some love eventually. You've already got a lot on your plate, so I don't want to overload too much. Your Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan is going to require you to farm the Old Republic to even get them. Your Traya is 7 stars. She needs gear. And your Scion and Nihilus, they've begun to get their stars and get their gear. That might be something that you could work on as a side project if you, say, put 80% of your efforts into your top 4 priorities and 20% into the Traya team. That's going to give you another good Grand Arena team, another good Geonosis Territory Battles team, and it's overall flexible. It can do a lot of work. One ongoing priority is mod farming. This is something that you're going to do as long as you're in the game, and I would highly recommend you just do it and get used to it. Now, normally I recommend doing 75% of your mod farming for speed sets, and then another 20% for crit damage, offense, crit chance, and then 5% for whatever you want to farm. But in your case, given what you're really working on, these are health set heavy teams. So you may want to do something like 40% speed, 40% health, and then another 5% for crit chance, crit damage, and offense. Then 5% for whatever you want to farm. Something like, 2 days a week do speed, 2 days a week do health, and then the other day just farm a few of each. But either way, I would highly recommend you farm at least 8 mods per day. Yes, most of them are going to be garbage, and you're going to take them up to level 12 or 9, 6, 3, whatever the color, depending. If you get speed secondaries or the other secondaries you're looking for, great, finish those off, slice them. If not, don't be afraid to sell them. And I know it looks like a crappy investment where you're putting in more credits than you're getting out, but when you sell them, you do recover some of those credits, and eventually you're going to get the mods that make your squads so much better, and it's going to make your game experience amazing. So your farming priorities. I would like to see you finish Geo Spy. That can be done in the fleet store. Shock T is on the fleet node. You want to be refreshing that 3 times a day, so the 25, 50, and 100. Go pretty hard after that. Once you're done with her, you can do Darth Scion on the fleet node, but for right now, go ahead and start with your light side hard node, farming Darth Scion. With your dark side, farm Darth Nihilus. And I would recommend 2 refreshes on each of those nodes per day, so the 25 refresh and the 50 refresh. It'll get them speeding up so you can get those quicker and get to doing more damage in Dark Side Geonosis territory battles and Grand Arena Championships. The one thing that I'm going to suggest here is don't totally ignore Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan. You're going to have to farm the Old Republic. The good news is the Karth team is pretty good. It's not as great on defense as we thought it might have been, but offensively it will take out a lot of those B teams. It can be used on defense. It depends on your opponent, but you're really getting a good bang for your buck out of that team. Now, with that being said, I would almost like to see you go and finish Darth Scion and Darth Nihilus before you even start on Old Republic, because if you spread yourself too thin, it's going to take you forever to accomplish anything, and by the time that you get that, some of those teams will fall even further out of favor. So strike while the iron is hot. Go ahead and get Darth Scion, Darth Nihilus done. Gear up Traya. Get Traya, Nihilus, and Scion to gear 12, and then consider your Old Republic. I know we're going to have to wait and see what other content is coming to see if it's going to be better, but let's go with this plan for right now. All right, Nivek, that wraps it up, and I really hope this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. We'll talk through it and get you some answers. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. I'm still doing some roster reviews. I'm still working on the free-to-play law or the free-to-play like a whale content. There's going to be more of that coming. There's going to be some other content. We're going to grow this channel, and we're just going to make it a lot of fun and really informative, because this game is great, but it's become really taxing, especially on the free-to-play player. And I want to help everybody that's free-to-play or nearly free-to-play to take advantage of every resource in the game that's going to maximize their ability to play well. All right, everybody, you have a good one. And Nivek, thanks again so much for the poster. I hope you have a great day, and take it easy.